Hi everybody, my name is Billy, welcome to Shed Tech. Do you have water bottles and rolls of solder unexplainably rolling around your desk? Or maybe you've noticed crazy disembodied arms walking around hoping to decapitate your guests. Ah! Then what you need is a set of Ghostbusters Ecto Goggles. This headset sports two sensors. It's got a camera sensor here, a thermal infrared sensor here. The whole thing runs on a Raspberry Pi 02. It's got a battery pack in here. It's got a battery charger in here based on the Power Boost C1000 from Adafruit. It's got USB-C charging port here, and it's got its power on switch here. The headset makes use of a 5-inch screen, one of these guys, inside here. The reason it's a 5-inch screen is because that's what I had lying around. You would probably be able to make a smaller headset if you had a smaller screen, but I didn't. As well as that, I have a heavy enough battery in here. I have I think it's about a 600 milliamp hour lithium ion battery pack in there, and that adds a lot of weight to this when you're wearing it and drags it down. So things to keep in mind for your own design: maybe use a smaller screen, then you can make a smaller headset, and maybe use a smaller power pack. The trade-off would be you won't be able to use it as long, but it will be lighter on your face. And here is basically what you can see through the headset. Now you might be wondering why I've opted to separate the thermal view from the camera view. Well, the reason is twofold. One is that it was kind of difficult to mirror the camera output to give you two camera outputs so you could overlay them for both eyes, your left eye and your right eye. And the second reason is that I just liked it this way, to be honest. I just think that it looks cool when you're looking kind of through your left eye. You can see the thermal image, and through your right eye you see the real image. It kind of adds a kind of a, I don't know, kind of a cool effect if you're ghost hunting. As we're talking about the sensors, you might notice that I have a piece of glass over the camera here, and another little piece of plastic over the thermal sensor here. In order to make them, I cut them out by hand using a hacksaw, and I filed them into the right size from a piece of acrylic. The reason I have them in there at all is because I just wanted to stop dust and things like that getting in at the actual sensor. I just wanted to mention as well a quick note about HDMI leads and things like that. A lot of the time when you're making projects like this, you're going to find yourself caught for room, and you're going to find that the HDMI cables and things like that can get in the way. Most of the time what I end up doing is I end up clipping back the plastic around the cable itself just to try and make it a bit thinner. Any of you who've made projects before will know what I'm talking about. This time around though, I went onto Amazon and I bought this flat ribbon type HDMI cable and these low profile adapters that go into it. These little HDMI sockets and male and female parts that go onto it. This gave me a lot more flexibility inside here, made things a lot easier to put together, and just made my life a lot easier. I recommend you do the same. You might be looking at this and wondering why all the snaps. They're in there because they were on the original. They were on the prop from the movie. So I'm guessing on the movie prop that they were probably used to hold stuff like this face covering in place. They were probably facing the other way and holding this guy on so you could swap it off and throw it out when it got old and put a new one on there. I super glued this onto place, and I just put these on with epoxy resin just to make them decorative. That is, except for this snap, and this snap. These ones are not decorative. They are used to hold on the strapping. Now I still epoxied them on, but I didn't use just cheap epoxy. I used some fake metal epoxy just to give them, make sure that they're a little bit stronger. In order to make this strapping to hold the headset on, I had a piece of leather running around the place, this piece here that I cut, this T junction that I'm calling it, out. This piece here is the piece that goes onto the back of your head and the strapping connects to it. There are 3 main pieces of strap that connect to that. And in order to connect them, I stitched them. I made a hole in the leather here. I 3D printed a piece of plastic just to give the leather a bit of strength so it wouldn't tear. And I stitched on some of this nylon strapping straight through it here. The nylon strapping goes through a backpack clasp type thing here that allows you to extend the length of it. And the other side of the clasp is stitched on again to this little piece of strapping that has another snap in place. This snap allows you to connect it onto the headset. As you can see, the leather on this looks a bit dirty and manky. The reason is because I wanted it to. In order to get it to look like that, I got a bit of black and brown paint and I mixed it together to make it kind of a sludgy, oily kind of colour. I watered it down and I dabbed it on here. I also dabbed it on the strapping and I dabbed it on the entire headset. You can see it in the grooves in here on the eyepiece just to make it look a bit old and around the silver. In a lot of the low points on the headset and around kind of these areas here, wherever there's a corner, there's a little bit of that stuff in there. On top of the brass, I put black paint just to make them look a bit aged as well. Even a bit on the sticky, on the labels I put on here, I aged them a bit too, just, you know, if the headset's going to be used and if you want it to have the appearance that it has been used, these stickers aren't going to look brand new. They're going to look like they've gotten a bit of dirt on them from being used, or maybe a bit of ectoplasm or whatever. And yeah. A quick note on the design, I opted to do all this in Tinkercad. The reason is because it was super simple, just adding and subtracting shapes, and it just shows what you can do with some really simple design software. If you want to build your own, I have links below for the software, the 3D prints, the documentation where I go through as much as I can about how to put it together, how to paint it, and how to get your own goggles ready for operation. Now that you have your goggles prepared, it's time to put them into use and go ghost hunting. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe. And if you've made any of your own builds or have any suggestions, I'd love to hear about them. I don't want to watch Britney Spears, or Boys to Men, or what the hell? Where do you watch this crap? No, I don't play them for you. You're lying, I can see right through you. Don't get upset with me because you're a ghost.